mainly about the mind and the nature of the true mind. Here we are not about the entertainment, but about the spirituality, inner peace, self-growth, inner strength, awareness, clarity. And if you are interested in this topic, you can subscribe to our channel and follow up. Yeah. So what we are sharing here is based on Xuemo mindology, and Xuemo is a contemporary Chinese writer who has written over 80 titles with 200 editions and have been translated into 28 languages. He's not only a storyteller, but also a philosopher, a thinker, a life guider. His works can illuminate people's inner light, and maybe you will find your own self-strength, inner strength again through reading his works. So follow up with me, and today the topic is about how to recognize our true mind. So how to stop the restless mind, and how to observe whether we are in the status of the true mind. So when delusive thoughts cease, the mind naturally enters the state of true mind. But the prerequisite for stopping those thoughts is to remain fully attentive to what is before you, to stay clear and awake, and to continuously observe your inner world. This is what is often called arising vigilance and maintaining awareness. Hi, Loic. Hello, welcome. Today's topic is how to observe your true mind. And only when you truly understand the condition of your own mind can you recognize whether you have once again fallen into distraction and wandering thought. Only then can you genuinely begin to quiet those delusions. If you notice that delusive thoughts have already arisen, how should you deal with them? And do not use another thought, such as suggest I must stop thinking to suppress them. Simply continue doing what you should doing, and treat those thoughts like passing travelers. You are fully aware of their arrival, yet you do not engage them, nor become intimate with them. You simply watch them quietly as they leave. So watching the returning wild geese, lightly touching the strings of the lute, at ease in every gesture, letting the mind wander into a profound mystery, allow thoughts to come and go on their own. In this way, those thoughts no longer disturb your mind, and you avoid creating even great waves by trying to force one wave down. In other words, you will not destroy your own inner peace through an excessive struggle between what is true and what is false. For example, imagine you are writing a proposal for a project, and because you need reference materials, you go online to search for related information, but while searching, you suddenly notice some news that interests you, and you think, Maybe I'll just take a quick look. So you begin browsing. Then while browsing, you remember something you wanted to buy, so you open a shopping website. After wandering around for quite some time and finally preparing to pay, you suddenly remember that you were originally supposed to be working on the proposal. You glance at the clock and realize that several hours have already passed. And because of that, you fall once again into self-blame. So this passage speaks directly to modern life. It is not teaching a harsh suppression of thought, but rather the ability to remain awake and conscious. So many people believe spiritual practice means eliminating thoughts entirely. But the real issue is not the existence of thoughts. It is being endlessly dragged away by them. One thought hooks another thought, one web page opens another web page, one desire awakens another desire.我这边都是跟阿诺老师确认的，然后这两个表格我也跟他说过，他说之后都走那个程序，然后就是从这次的那个马切诺这个杯子开始的，所以这些表格呢，就是还是去年的，相当于是过年之前的表格，就是按照之前了。So in the end, a person is no longer living in reality, but inside a constantly drifting mental state. True awareness is not necessarily entering some mysterious meditative condition. It is knowing in every moment of ordinary life what you are actually doing. So when eating, you know you are eating. When working, you know you are working. When emotions rise, you know emotions are rising. The simple knowing is actually a profound power. Often people are not defeated by the world itself, but by their own uncontrolled attention. And the most dangerous thing about modern society is precisely that it is constantly fighting to capture human attention. Therefore, the ability to remain present, stay awake, and allow thoughts to come and go without being carried away by them is already a very high form of cultivation and inner discipline. Why? What I'm sharing is from the book The True Mind by Xuemo. You become captivated by the very first thought, you follow it, and then follow the countless thoughts that arise from it, drifting farther and farther, and until you completely forget what you were originally doing, and you also forgot why it matters. Look, that reel was nice, which was upload recent about small love. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. So glad to hear that because I never have any feedback about the reels uploaded, and I'm doing the thing, uploading thing. Hi, Spart and Great. Hello, welcome. Where are you from? If from the beginning you had simply allowed that thought to come and go on its own without welcoming it and without resisting it, then that entire chain of distractions would never have unfolded and you would have remained focused on your work. Therefore, the best way to deal with delusive thoughts is not to follow them. Let thoughts arise without attachment and let them leave without pursuit. Oh, you're also from India. Hello, welcome, and good blessing from China. Thank you for being here, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Like Disney canceled the Spartan. What is Spartan? Oh, Spartan. So it is a name and also from the Disney. Define consciousness in your words. Let's see your view. Spartan is a web series about aliens. Okay. So therefore, the best way to deal with delusive thoughts is not to follow them. Let thoughts arise without attachment and let them leave without pursuit. If you have never truly observed your inner world and are not even sure how to observe, then begin simply by paying attention to your thoughts. Keep your mind awake and clear. Never allow yourself to drift into absent-mindedness. Remember at every moment that the past cannot be changed, while the future is built entirely upon the foundation of the present moment. Therefore, calmly devote yourself what is before you right now and pay attention to every voice that arises within your heart. But do not treat those inner voices as commands that must be obeyed. At the same time, this listening should not become overly deliberate, because excessive effort itself can become another form of delusion. Remember, the purpose of listening is not to follow. It is not to use one thought to suppress another thought, nor to create a new inner conflict. But why pay attention to delusive thoughts instead of directly recognizing the true mind? Because for beginners in the practice of observation, directly recognizing the true mind may still be difficult. The true mind transcends concepts, so it cannot easily be understood through conceptual thinking or intellectual study. Even if for a few brief moments you are already abiding in the state of the true mind, you may not dare to believe it, or you may not recognize it at all. This passage is actually pointing towards something extremely profound. And next, I will share the first step of happiness. And the first step of happiness is to conquer the inner conflict. Right? So many people ask the same question: what is happiness? And very few people truly find the answer. What we mean happiness here is the happiness without any reason or external conditions. So the first step towards happiness is to calming the storm within. We constantly try to create happiness through countless methods. In reality, we pay far more attention to the causes of our unhappiness. So, what exactly are these causes of unhappiness? Most of them are illusions constructed by delusive thoughts. For example, I once knew a young couple. They shared the same ideals and had only recently married. Yet one evening, they fell into a fierce argument over something extremely trivial. The wife asked her husband, who was still playing video games at 11 at night, to go to bed earlier, but the husband felt that she was interfering with his life and rejecting his freedom. The more he thought about it, the, the angrier he became. Unable to sleep, went he went downstairs in the middle of the night and sat there alone. Many people who heard this story felt the man was overreacting. They only saw that what had happened externally, but they didn't see the storm that had erupted within his heart. But the man himself was completely immersed in that inner storm. Hi, Jake. Hello. Are you new here? Where are you from? And please subscribe to our channel. Hi, thank you for your subscription. So you are from America. Okay, it is quite early in the morning in America, right? Which state? I think you should be in the Eastern America. So the man himself was completely immersed in that inner storm. He no longer cared whether his wife's words came from kindness. He cared only about the invisible sense of restraint he believed he was suffering under. The suffering created by those thoughts felt so real that he could no longer step outside of himself and look at the situation objectively, nor could he respond with gratitude or understanding. East Coast, yeah, welcome. So the topic we are talking about now is the first step of happiness. And the first step of happiness is to calm the storm in the storm. Calm the inner storm. So if you are interested, you can stay for a while. So the suffering created by those thoughts felt so real that he could no longer step outside of himself and look at the situation objectively, nor could he respond with gratitude or understanding. And of course, the reason the husband carried so many emotional associations was because his wife had often complained about him in the past. And the reason the wife complained was because the husband had once said things that deeply hurt her, perhaps combined with stress from work and many other pressures. But all of these so-called reasons actually are the things already gone, and all those things are just like illusions, similar to the movies, and they only exist in your present, at the present, and they are like the memories, right? So what caused the unhappiness mostly are the illusion thoughts. But we take the false as real and attach to the illusions. Actually, all these are Hi, if you're new here, please subscribe to our channel. We are talking about the nature of the true mind, and we are talking about the step to true happiness. True happiness means that the happiness comes from without reason and not from the external conditions. So these so-called causes are often things that ended long ago, existing only as illusory images and echoes within memory, like fragments from a movie. Most of what makes people unhappy are unreal and illusory thoughts. Marriage-like appearances that we mistake for reality, clinging stubbornly to these false delusions. In truth, all distinctions, along with the pleasure and the pain they bring us, are nothing more than illusory appearances. Only by understanding this and transforming that understanding into an instinct of life itself, can we attain genuine happiness and inner coolness. As I often say, do things as though using a colored brush to paint across empty space, folding focus while painting, yet letting go completely once finished, leaving neither the mind nor the emptiness burdened by attachment. Hi, Pontus. Hello, welcome. Hi, PI. Hello. Yet we constantly allow ourselves to fall into delusive thoughts, sinking deeper and deeper into them. Compared to what we have gained, we care far more about what we believe we have lost. Hi, Theme Institute. So that's why Mr. Xuemo always talk about to treasure what you already have. So it is so easy that we care far more about what we believe we have lost compared to what we have gained. Actually, we should focus more on what we have gained rather than what we don't have. And sometimes, deep within our hearts, there seems to be a helpless child, curled up in fear, afraid of the darkness, and even more afraid of the unknown hidden within it. The child seems to cry endlessly, and those cries pull countless strands of pain from the depth of our hearts. The pain feels so real and so intense that we can almost sense the poisonous fires of hell burning fiercely somewhere within us. We feel pity for our suffering selves, almost wishing to give ourselves a strong embrace. But where exactly is the one we are trying to embrace? You will never truly find it because it exists only within endless streams of thoughts. When you quiet yourself completely, suspend all mental activity, and carefully observe your inner world, you will discover that the pain which once felt so real seems to vanish. Your heart becomes empty and vast, as boundless as the open sky even. So you cannot find the hurting self, the one who is feeling so sad, who is feeling helpless, and who is afraid of the darkness. And the pain is so real. The pain is so real. But actually, if you so you absolutely cannot find it because this self only exists in your streamless thoughts. Endless streams of thoughts. And when you quiet yourself completely and observe your inner world, you will discover that the pain which feels so real seems to vanish. Your heart becomes empty and vast, as boundless as the open sky, even beyond the physical body, and melt into the wholeness of the world. Yeah. And you are experiencing the wholeness, the oneness. You melt into the huge silence and calmness. And in this huge silence, within this stillness, even the sound of your heartbeat becomes remarkably clear. You forget yourself, and you don't know why you once felt pain, as nothing truly happens. And although nothing truly unbearable had ever happened. See, it has already faded. You no longer wish to deliberately recall it. You simply enjoy the calmness and happiness of the present moment, dealing only with what must be handled now, making only the choices that belong to the present, and somehow that feels entirely enough. At that moment, the many shadows within your heart dissolve. The sky of the mind becomes bright, vast, and empty. The storms within you come to rest, and the ocean of the soul becomes smooth like a mirror. At this point, you have entered the state of the true mind. When all delusive thoughts come to rest, yeah, your awareness remains clear rather than dull, and you are still capable of subtle observation. The true mind may reveal itself. It is like the clear sky appearing after the clouds have dispersed, like the wind becoming still and the waves subsiding until the sea reflects like a mirror. When the delusive mind ceases and, and the true mind appears, it is empty and still, yet luminously aware, radiant with inherent light. Empty means spacious and unburdened, free from attachment, with no distracting or delusive thoughts. Stillness means peaceful and tranquil, without restless thoughts flying everywhere. Luminous awareness means brightness and clarity, awake and radiant, not confused or clouded. You cannot mistake it for the state just before sleep. Although that state may also feel empty and quiet, with no thoughts arising, it is actually dullness and mental heaviness. that is not the true mind, and it easily leads into ignorance. The true mind is empty and still, yet luminously aware and filled with light. It is like a crystal capable of refracting light, transparent and pure, yet alive with vibrant energy. Because it is both empty and luminous, it is also called luminous emptiness. However, even after understanding that true happiness is hidden within this living stillness, for those who have not undergone disciplined training, entering such a state is still not easy. Hi, CJ Little. Yeah, we have this. Thank you for your mind. Yeah. Are you new here? Where are you from? Share with me if you can. And please subscribe to our channel if you're new here. We are talking about the nature of the true mind today. And all these talking are based on Xuemo mindology and from his book, The True Mind. So most people used to put their attention in the external world, but while ignoring the soul, the spirit. So most people don't pay attention to their heart, their mind, so they don't know when he's when he is having the delusive thoughts. You're from Scotland. Hello, welcome, CJ. I hope I can visit CJ. Oh, sorry, visit Scotland sometime in the future. Yeah. Scotland, when I think of Scotland, I will like the grassland and the dancing. I don't know why that view will come into my head when I think of Scotland. Hi, Jake. Yes, I'm Chinese. Jake, you still here? Thank you for your companion. So most people don't have the habit of observing their own minds. They don't know when they are caught in delusion, nor can they recognize when they have unconsciously entered the state of the true mind. Therefore, this kind of entering remains uncontrollable for them. Fortunately, the great masters throughout history have already summarized many methods for quieting delusion and revealing the true mind. According to your own needs, you may choose the method most suitable for yourself and practice it consistently over time. The benefits will certainly be profound. So how can delusive thoughts be extinguished? Hey, anyone interested about this topic? How can delusive thoughts be extinguished? So the prerequisite for quieting the delusive mind is first learning how to observe your own heart and mind. How should one observe? Simply put, it means maintaining clear self-awareness at all times. So self-awareness means being fully aware of your psychological activity, emotional fluctuations, and mental state every single moment. It is as though your body, your thoughts, and your true self are three separate entities. Your thoughts are passing travelers. Your body is the town, and you are the silent observer who watches them enter. Hi, CJ. Thank you for your mind. Hi, STZ. Hello, welcome. And after a long time of training, consciousness training, the state of observation will become an existence, just like your breath, very naturally, and you don't need to do it intensively. At that time, the thoughts melt. So the independent three individuals slowly become only two, the body and you. And you will also discover you, yourself, and body and the world melt into one and become the one element that concludes the world, but not an independent and real existing individual. So now you will understand, you will know how to observe your mind. Then let's come to the method that can quiet the delusive mind and return to the method of quieting delusion and revealing the true mind. 真心希望 quieting the delusion and revealing the true mind. The first method is called awareness. Hi, it's TZ. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you. Please subscribe to our channel. Thank you. So the first method is called, hi Harry, hello again, hello. I'm sharing the methods of quieting delusion and revealing the true mind from Xuemo's work, the true mind. So the first method is called awareness. While observing the mind, you remain vigilant against the arising of delusive thoughts. The moment you notice yourself drifting into random thinking, You must immediately cut off the thought and stop following it further. There is a book called Direct Words on the True Mind. So as it stated in the book, Direct Words in the True Mind, when practicing, one ordinarily cuts off thoughts while guarding against the arising of thoughts. The moment a thought appears, awareness immediately breaks it. Once delusive thoughts are broken by awareness, thoughts no longer arise. Eventually, even this awareness wisdom is no longer needed when both delusion and awareness are forgotten. This is called no mind. Therefore, the patriarch said, do not fear the arising of thoughts, fear only delayed awareness. Another verse says, there is no need to seek truth. One only needs to cease conceptual views. This is the practice of extinguished delusion. For example, while writing an article, you suddenly begin wondering what to eat for dinner. At that moment, you must not linger on the question. You should not continue debating whether to order takeout, cook at home, or invite friends out for a nice meal. You should immediately return to the state of writing and focus fully on what you are supposed to be doing at that moment. As for those thoughts that constantly tempt you, you must learn to reject them and never follow where they lead. Because once you lower your guard, they will use countless reasons to deceive and tempt you, causing you to become uncertain and hesitant about what you had already. And the second method is called take a rest. Very interesting, right? Take a rest. It also means let it go. It means let your delusive mind take a rest. Don't use it to measure the circumstances in front of you. Do not measure if it is good or bad, should or shouldn't. After observation, just let it go. Just as the book says, as stated in the direct words on the true mind. When practicing, thinking neither of good nor evil, the moment thoughts arise, let them rest. When encountering circumstances, let them cease. The ancient said, go forth like a stripe of white silk, cold and pure, like incense smoke drifting from an ancient temple burner, until all subtle distinctions and discriminations are cut off. Become simple and still, almost foolish and unmoving, only when there's some degree of accord. This is the practice of resting in delusive mind. For example, when you see a beautiful woman, simply appreciate her beauty and let it end there. There is no need to judge whether her behavior matches her appearance, nor compare her with others to determine who is more attractive, and nor analyze which of her features best fits your personal standards of beauty. And certainly do not become obsessed and falling too lonely. So the third method is called dissolving the mind while leaving the environment. So dissolve here means to extinguish. During practice, whenever delusive thoughts arise, extinguish them immediately. No matter what the external environment may be, simply calm your own mind. Once the delusive mind is quieted, the outer environment can no longer harm you. And the ancient call this removing the person without removing the environment. And hi, SDZ. Wow, you understand the contents here and enjoy this. I think you are a very spiritual man. Thank you for your support, and I truly glad that you enjoy this. So please subscribe our channel. Lemon Pong said, "Oh, it is not me, but from Xuemo Mindology. The book is written by Xuemo, Xuemo, and if you want to know more about his insights, you can check Xuemo, Xuemo, Xuemo on Amazon, and or you can check all his books on our online shop, shop.xuemo.com. And there is a saying, if one remains without attachment toward all things, sorry, the happiness just blew me, so I cannot stop. So if one remains without attachment toward all things, what harm is there in being constantly surrounded by them? So delusive thoughts are often triggered by external stimulation. For example, you see your girlfriend having dinner with another man, and you immediately feel upset, perhaps even angry. You fear that you may lose her, but this is only your speculation. And such suspicion only harms yourself. Instead, you may simply refrain from making assumptions. What you saw is simply what you saw. Without imagination, attachment, or obsession, you will not fall into the blazing sea of delusive thoughts. Okay. And that is where my suffering comes from. All from my imagination, all from my delusive thoughts. So from all my suffering is triggered by external stimulation, and I see some circumstances. I will have my speculation and suspicion and making assumptions. I have many imagination, attachment, and obsession, and I can see myself falling into blazing sea of elusive thoughts. And I know that. And the fourth method is called dissolving the environment while preserving the mind. Eliminating the external environment while allowing only the true mind to remain. In other words, one to understand that all phenomena are like marriages. Surreal, such a nice. Thank you. Wow. So you should understand that all these things are like imaginary existence, and sooner or later it will vanish, like a memory. So you will not be so care about that. When practicing this method, you should view all inner and outer phenomena as empty, still, and impermanent, allowing only the true mind to remain standing alone in solitary clarity. As stated in the direct words on the true mind, do not take the myriad phenomena as companions, nor opus the dust of the world. If the mind becomes attached to the external conditions, the mind itself is delusion. Now that there are no conditions, where can delusion exist? Then the true mind shines alone, unobstructed by the way. This is what the ancient called removing the environment without removing the person. Hi, Karuna. Hello, welcome. Thank you for coming by. 哇，太美了这个词，不与万法为侣，不与诸尘作对。心若住境，心即是妄；心若浊境，心即是妄。今既无境，何妄之有？乃真心独照，不爱于道，即古人夺境不夺人也。Thus it is said, the flowers in the other garden have already withered, yet carriages and horses still crowd the roads. And again, where are the 3,000 swordsmen now? Only Zhuangzhou alone remains in peaceful stillness. This is the practice of dissolving the environment while preserving the mind in order to quiet delusion. From the American Trump coming in China said that warning in China virus. Real here in China country very hard work. People, great in Taiwan. Thank you for your support. I don't know this news. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for sharing this news to me. Then thank you. But here in our channel, we don't talk about any politics. Only the consciousness. It is about the consciousness and the human civilization, and it is not about country. Yes, because the spirit we're talking about the spirit, consciousness, human civilization, the mind and true mind here. Okay, let's come to the fifth method. It is called dissolving both mind and environment, meaning extinguish both the external world and the mind itself. This means that not only do you understand all phenomena to be illusory and unreal, but you also realize that your own thoughts are equally fleeting and ever-changing. So, what troubles you today may become what you long for tomorrow, while what you long for yesterday may later become the source of future anxiety. Because there are simple too many factors influencing emotional perception. So why place so much importance on external circumstances? Why exhaust your mind constantly contemplating them? In the curses of Xixia, Xuemo once described one character called Xueyuer in a state of luminous clarity. Although she had lost a leg and was bound in chains, her heart contained no guns, chains, wounded limbs, and scorching heat, nor any anxiety or resentment. Her mind was like a vast ocean of clarity and stillness. This is dissolving both mind and environment. Hi, Jay, I don't write books, but he did. My teacher, my life guide, Mr. Xuemo. Xuemo is one of the most prolific and well-known contemporary Chinese writer from Western China. He has written over 80 titles with over 200 editions and have been translated into 28 languages. And what I'm sharing here is from Xuemo's book, The True Mind. And there are also over 10 of his books have been translated into English, and you can find them on Amazon or our official online shop, shop.xuemo.com. You can search for Xuemo, Xuemo, for his books if you're interested. So the direct words of the true mind explains it in this way. First, empty and quiet the external environment, then extinguish the inner mind. Once both inner and outer realms become still, from where can delusion ultimately arise? Therefore, Guan Xi said, in the 10 directions, there are no walls. On all four sides, there are no gates, naked and pure, open and unobstructed. This is the patriarch's method of dissolving both person and environment together. Thus, it is said, clouds disperse, waters flow away, in stillness heaven and earth become empty. And again, when neither person nor ox can be seen, that is precisely when the moon shines brightness. This is a practice of dissolving both mind and environment in order to quiet delusion. I don't know why, I'm so happy. Okay, you are driving, thank you. Thank you for your time here. Take care. So let's come to the sixth method. The sixth method is called preserving both environment and the mind. This means that you must not become confused by appearances before your eyes, nor allow experiences to generate emotions such as attachment or aversion. Hi, Xixia, you're still here. Thank you. As stated in direct words of the true mind, let mind remain in the place of mind and let phenomena remain in the place of phenomena. Hi, Goofy. Hello. Even when mind and circumstance confront one another, if the mind does not grasp the environment, and the environment does not invade the mind, neither reach the other. Naturally, delusive thoughts do not arrive, and thus the way remains unobstructed. 心境相对则心不取境，境不明心各不相道，自然妄念不生，于道无爱故。So beautiful. 每一句都那么。The scripture says, all dharmas abide in their own stations. Worldly appearances remain ever present. This is the patriarch's method of neither removing the person nor removing the environment. And as it is said, when one rises over the sea, countries, households ascend their towers. And again, 10,000 mountains, flowers bloom, yet the wanderer forgets the way home. This is the practice of preserving both environment and the mind in order to distinguish delusion. Extinguish delusive. Well, Goofy, you are selected in Yale's. Such a good news. Yes, I'm reading from ChatGPT, and I'm translating this book by Xuemo. The True Mind. The Nature, the True Mind. Not my book, but Xuemo's book. Hi, Melody. Are you new here? Please subscribe to our channel. So once you achieve this, you attain a kind of genuine freedom. What is true freedom? Being allowed by the outside world to do what we want or say what we wish is not true freedom. Because such freedom is passive, it depends upon the cooperation of the external world. Yet that cooperation is beyond our control. To depend upon this kind of freedom is to admit that one is a slave to the external world. Therefore, that expectation in itself becomes a profound form of unfreedom. Only when the inner world and the outer world become independent of one another, when we clearly perceive everything happening externally without being controlled by it, can we attain true freedom and complete inner autonomy. This autonomy is what the ancient called preserving both environment and mind. The seventh method is called the unity of inner and outer. All phenomena in the world are inseparable from the true mind. There was a German philosopher named Martin Buber who wrote a book called I and the No, in which he explained two possible ways of attaining immortality. One is to allow the vastness of existence to dissolve the self. The other is to make one's own spirit so expansive that it can embrace the entire universe and the natural world. Let's finish this. Imagine that your heart can include the whole outer world. Embrace the entire external world. Then the outer world and yourself would naturally merge into one. And if they are originally one, how could even the slightest opposition exist? Without opposition, there's naturally no division. Without division, there is naturally no soil in which delusion can grow. Of course, the prerequisite for realizing such inclusiveness is still understanding that the external world is nothing more than a dreamlike illusion, empty in essence. Yeah, this emptiness is not a void of absolute nothingness. It is an emptiness like the true mind itself, clear, vast, and still containing infinite possibilities. Direct words on the true mind says, mountains, rivers, earth, sun, moon, stars, the inner body, and outer objects, all phenomena share the same essence as the true mind, clear and luminous, without the slightest difference. When the countless worlds become one unified whole, from where could the lucid mind possibly arise? Therefore, Master Zhao said, heaven and earth share the same root as I do. All things and I are of one body. This is a practice of extinguish delusion through the unity of inner and outer. And the eighth method is called the full functioning of inner and outer. When you can truly abide in the true mind, all external circumstances and your own thoughts become marvelous function arising from the true mind itself. You no longer consciously analyze or judge them, nor measure them through thought, experience, standards, or concepts, nor do you classify them through concepts of opposition and division. In other words, when it is time to walk, you walk. When it is time to sleep, you sleep. When it is time to eat, you eat. Do not burden these natural actions with excessive purposes, methods, or judgments. Of course, you must not lose clear awareness when you're doing all these things. Okay, let's finish this. These all 10 methods of extinguish the delusive thoughts and abide in the true mind. The moment any thought arises, marvelous function is already present. Since the true nature of ignorance is itself Buddha nature. This illusory empty body is itself the Dharma body. The ninth method is called essence itself is function. All phenomena before your eyes are both the essence of true mind and the functioning of the true mind. The luminous awareness of the true mind can give rise to infinite, marvelous functions. Although the emptiness of the true mind is spacious and open, it is completely different from blank unconsciousness. It is not dull staring, not Johnsoness, nor unawareness. As long as you maintain clear awareness at every moment while abiding in this state of emptiness and stillness, you can both enjoy the ease and freedom of emptiness and still respond swiftly and intelligently to situations. In that case, why continue making endless guesses and associations about people and things? And the final method is called transcending both essence and function. This means you no longer concern yourself with what is essence or function, what is true or false, what is inner or outer, what is affliction or enlightenment. Simply let go of all concepts and oppositions completely. Do not dwell on the past or imagine the future. Simply focus on the present moment, following naturally with conditions while remaining clear and awake in the here and now. In this way, the lucid thoughts naturally will not arise. Oh, let's finish this chapter. So all these 10 methods are from the book Direct Words on the True Mind. And these are all excellent paths of spiritual practice for human being. And you only need to choose the one most suitable for yourself and practice it consistently over time. In doing so, your inner world and your life will certainly undergo profound transformation. So sadly, very few people recognize their true value. And most people believe that true measures must appear extraordinary and astonishing. They also imagine that such treasures are always hidden somewhere distant and mysterious. And so the precious jewel becomes covered in dust, and bright mirror glows clouded with rain. Truly, this is great pity. So hope you can understand how precious the contents I'm sharing today, and you can choose one method to practice in your daily life, and hope all of us can abide in our true mind. Thank you for coming to Xuemo community. Thank you. See you next time.